Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to start with an oracle card pull. And here it's from my tree oracle deck. And this morning, two cards wanted to be read. And the first card, I haven't looked at them. The first card is the spruce. And I'm just going to take some time to look at it. In some ways, my first thought is like it's almost like a mummy. Like what came to mind, I haven't, um, in going without a guest and in just speaking what spirit speaks through me, I haven't intentionally planned to just do moon energies, um, but it's what wanted to be spoken today again. That's what was given me. And I don't know all that I'm going to say about it, but part of the last quarter moon energy in Gemini this week, it climaxes on Saturday, is to bring mental clarity. And you'll also feel a restless curiosity in doing so. And that curiosity is what's going to help you explore possibilities instead of just accepting answers you thought you already had to close a subject, to close the book on a subject or a situation, or just to explore extra ideas of new things that you were thinking about. And instead of just one, being able to help you view um, other things that you might not have been consciously aware of, and to bring those into your mind so that you can see which action steps are most fully in alignment with your spirit and listening to your own spirit. And so, um, a lot of it might be you might have memories or of other decisions that you've made in the past that come up to with review, and or you might have the new ideas. But so again, trying to look at these with a new perspective so that you can see different options. And we're going to do a little exercise later today to give you time this morning to sit still for a moment and see if any of those come up into your mind, or to just put your intention out there for the universe, saying, "Hey, I'm ready to connect with this energy. I want to know all the possibilities that I might choose what's best." And so thinking about past decisions that you've already made or memories of things that already happened, that's what this almost a coffin like shape reminds me of. And it's coming alive, the old decisions coming alive with new life and shining that into your life. That's, and it looks like his hands are here on his heart or his solar plexus area to enrich your life, to fulfill your desires, the moon energy, and to help you step into life with more confidence, if that was the solar plexus area that he's at. And the peak of his hat here, indicating to me of receiving information from heaven, from the oneness or source, God, however you see that energy. And I'll move this close again so you can see. And I'll read a little bit about the spruce here, to see what I might have missed. Just putting it over here by my light desk lamp so I can see better. Viewed directly from above, the star-shaped pattern made by the branches of the spruce resembles a snowflake. I didn't know that. Ranks of these stern coniferous trees almost seem to have a geometric or mathematical quality about them, while their needle-like leaves are packed together tightly, seemingly disinterested in their surroundings. Trees with broad leaves spreading outward as they do seem almost extrovert in comparison to the spruce of all their leaves packed closely together. The distinctive density has a positive effect on the tree's extraordinary clarity and energy. And clarity, wasn't that just what we read of the moon energies about today in Gemini? The distinctive density has a positive effect on the tree's extraordinary clarity and energy. According to the old myths and legends, if a mountain troll felt like rampaging through a forest, it was bound to be fir and spruce trees that were being thrown around. No other trees were a challenge to the troll. Indeed, only the forces of nature itself were capable of felling these giant trees of the mountains. The power of the spruce facilitates the creative act between heaven and earth. Spruce acts as a key sensor for cosmic forces. The earth catches these forces with the help of trees and reflects the harmony of the universe and the music of the realms deep into the crystalline structures of the rock, among other places. Spruce trees mediate between the worlds. They are not particularly concerned with issues important to humans down here on Earth, in the Earth realm, so we can soon feel lonely and abandoned in a spruce forest, in which case the only thing to do is spread our wings and transcend our limiting thoughts. Spruce's gift is to help us extend our personal boundaries and access the higher realms. This is the doorway into the universal harmonic, the Tao, which confers great integrity and power, confers great integrity and power. So be worthy of that. The, the spruce shrinks in alpine areas where ski areas have been established and becomes a shadow of its former self, kind of a slave to the monoculture. This is where we experience the exact same kind of isolation and loneliness that the imprisoned spirit of the spruce lives with day in and day out. Humans sell heaven's blessings, and their reward is confinement, debility, pessimism, and darkness. And the oracle says, the breadth of space and the depth of the earth stream through the eye of the needle. The secret of living, above and below, penetrate each other and create life. The meeting is perfect. And I'm just going to pause a moment. The ancient Eastern feng shui that I am studying is considers humans that connection, just like the spruce and fir trees, the connection between heaven and earth, that we also are that vessel that receives, as the spruce card indicates, that vessel that receives the the meaning of things from heaven. We do also, as we place our attention there. And so this is heaven bringing to us which memories, the magnetism of source information, the magnetism rising these memories or these old decisions, these old beliefs up to be reviewed, and then heaven bringing those also with new light and new understanding. And the next card that wants to be told today is the holly. And again, it's the very same. It's the mirror of these. It's humans, us being that direct link between heaven and earth, of receiving guidance from heaven, and those energies within us working always to stir things for our favor. And heaven uses the astrology energies and the moon energies. Today it's the last quarter moon in in Gemini. So it contains the energies of both the last quarter moon and those of Gemini mixed together, which help us build this. So I'll read more about the holly for you. We all know that the holly is prickly, a characteristic that we may not like. But the holly's thorns also spur us on or even wake us up. Just as its distinctive leaves are clearly defined, with holly the mist suddenly clears, enabling us to see all kinds of things with clarity and good judgment. And I think, so often we have these memories or our old beliefs or old stories come to mind and we review them over and over, but we don't see them with clarity. And we just see what happened and view it with regret or perhaps with the fear of what will happen in the future that's connected to those memories or decisions. And and this special time is connecting those energies of the moon and Gemini to not just bring those old memories up or those old decisions up, but to fill us with new ideas so that we can see life itself as well as our own old decisions with new perspective and then choose for our highest good, our highest aligned action. We may still experience painful disappointments, but at the same time, we also gain a hitherto untapped power. It enables us to take up the sword of truth and spiritly cut through the veil of illusion that was clouding our perception. Exactly what I was talking. I didn't look at these before I drew them. I did shuffle the deck and I picked the cards, but I didn't look at them and I didn't read about them. I don't know this deck well enough to know the energies of every card. Um, but it's just beautiful how spirit works to guide us. It enables us to take up the sword of truth and spiritly cut through the veil of illusion that was clouding our perception. With Holly, we outgrow our fears and start to view life with a new clarity, realizing that things are not just black or white, good or bad. With Holly's medicine, we can see the variety of color in our rich and often complex lives. Holly, therefore, often marks a crossing or turning point and shows energy and a deeper personal integrity. With Holly at our side, we can do spiritual battle if we have to, and regardless of whether we win or lose, we can maintain our composure and higher purpose. Yet beware, this blessed sword will only remain with us if it's used to help us on our unique path to truth, our soul purpose, or our inner knowing guiding us into that alignment. Its purpose is not to scare off nor injure others, but to aid perception. Holly represents a test of ourselves. Within the power of Holly, we remain in half light, ensnared in illusion and fantasy. We become comfortable in our self made world and only seek our own advantage. Eventually, we may become cowardly or weak. And the oracle says, clarify your intent, expose your fears, trust in your inner voice, and take charge. The sword pierces the veils. Truth is double-edged, merciless, yet full of love. And whoa, those speak powerfully to me in what's been happening in my own life, things in the present day that are happening in the lives of one of my children. I have two boys, and one of my boys, those things happening there really pull me as the mom to protect and want to do battle on his behalf, want to really do all I can to make sure things turn out okay for him. At the same time, those circumstances that he is in, and because it's that particular son, it's bringing up these memories from the past that concerned when I was married to his father. And all these memories are coming up, these fears that I had. It was an abusive marriage, and it's bringing up fears, not necessarily memories of things of exact circumstances that happened, but of that fear of lying in wait for the next thing that would hurt me, bring harm to me. And um, so those memories with the moon and Gemini energies, as in conjunction with what's happening currently in the life of that son, are bringing all these up. And so I go to sleep fairly easily, or with the help of a sleep gummy or something. And then I wake up in the sacred hours with my heart racing, my um, mind. It's again, it's not particular things going, but it's racing, and I can't stop it, or I'm trying to stop it. So I stay awake for. I get up and get a drink and come back to bed, hoping I can lie down and go to sleep, and it keeps racing. And after a while, I get up and it's 2 or 3 hours later, and I haven't slept. And then so I try to do other things that might help me sleep, and then try to go back to sleep. And it was just this morning, then, when I was walking the dogs, that I started connecting some of these dots about other fears that subconsciously are currently probably happening in my life and coming up to clear, and that all these things are coming up at the same time, so that these deep-seated fears um, and thought patterns, perception of life the way it used to be, and the way my mind used to work, of the way I used to see things, is come into place at this time, so that I can see them from a new perspective. And then those old patterns can clear more fully. And so I just want to take a minute or two here. And as you watch, um, try to clear your mind. Take 3 or 4 deep belly breaths, inhaling through your nose very deeply, as much as you can breathe in. Hold it for a little bit, and then exhale loudly, making a sound to help clear that energy. Pause a little bit at the bottom, and then inhale again. So repeat that cycle, kind of the 4 steps of inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Another breath or two. Just do it on your own timing. Okay. I would like you now just to sit in quiet for another moment, opening your heart and your mind to receive whatever memories or decisions or ideas are being brought into your conscious awareness, that you can ask for a new perspective on, or just to open that door for that to happen at a later time, today or during this week, as those energies work in your life and all around all of us. And I'm going to work this energy for each of you and for myself to help bring harmony and communication and more ease in receiving these memories and ideas, and in these new perspectives. share those intentions with the universe? And I'm going to share, just as guided by spirit here, um, how my parts of my spiritual awakening and inner healing happened because at this time it was like um, I suddenly started to see things in a new perspective. And a lot of times it was a help of being in conversation with someone else, whether they knew what I was thinking about an instance or not. It would be maybe a word they said or an idea they had that suddenly clicked into place in something in my own life, and wham, a new perspective showed. And to have that, I think there's two things we need to start with, based on just my own life anyway. And the first thing, I started in this inner awakening about in the year 2002, something like that. So about what, 23 years ago. And I felt a yearning inside for something um, that needed changing. I wanted to go deeper with God or spirit, and kind of to that next level of understanding and wisdom. And I was still going to a Christian church at that time. And the group I was in was studying the Jabez prayer. And I don't even remember it very much at this time, but it had to do with the man Jabez was praying for God to increase his boundaries, basically in abundance, but also in wisdom and knowledge and in spiritual wisdom and connection, to increase his boundaries, and that he was willing to receive whatever it was that God wanted him to have at that time. Again, I don't remember for sure the whole prayer. And so I that really rang true to me. And so I started praying that day and night. It was kind of my mantra almost, or my go-to in my thoughts. It was what was driving me. I wanted that fully with all my heart, to have whatever God wanted me to have next. And things started changing in my life. It wasn't very long, a month or so, and things started changing. And within 2 years, I went through a rapid transformation, basically, of my life. I wasn't married, but I was in a um, dating relationship at the time, and um, I broke that off, and I changed the churches I was going to, and I changed the careers I was in. Um, and sometimes it wasn't always um, by my own conscious wanting that to happen, but circumstances arranged in my life, and it was the step I knew that was next. And so, in a couple years, then I was on a new path. I was in a different church, but still work. Um, Learning many new things that I'd never heard before, that weren't ever taught in the other churches I'd gone to. And so I was learning there anyway, new things. But all these shifts and changes took curiosity of, well, what's going to happen? Right? It's like I wanted that with all my heart. So, okay, what's going to happen? I went, not necessarily without fear or trepidation, without a little concern, but I had to. I couldn't not. I had this driving force of this desire in me, and enough curiosity to start seeing the world differently, to open me to hear different words that people were saying, or uh, see something, or receive inner knowing or something. It was just the start of my path. And then I had met my current husband, and we had knew we were right for each other right away, and got married within a few months, and we're on this path together of seeking new things, or being open to whatever that next step was spiritually. And more things started shifting and shifting. We had left the organized religion, and we had moved and changed jobs again, and things, many things changed. And it wasn't all continuous progress for me. It was like, probably it was too much at that time, maybe. And I'd said, and I'd kind of closed down, and said, that's enough. Or maybe I'd stepped too much into old stories when some kind of traumatic events happened concerning my dad passing away. And so it was all these things that always brought me to forward, a little bit at a time. And then again, it picked up highly. I got to a place in 2019 then that I just couldn't keep pushing anymore. I had to stop and go revisit all those things that had happened in my life, and look at them from a new perspective, right? See, what was I doing wrong? What can I change? What do I need to go to next? What is right for me at this time? And that's how I found biofield tuning. Just being led by spirit, and the curiosity and opening to see things from new perspectives. And so I just wanted to share that's part of the journey. I hope your journey happens much quicker than mine did. Mine was kind of quick at the first and very slow some years, and then quick at the end. And yours might be different because the energies are much different now, astrologically, than they were back then. We went through many changes over the last 12 months or 14 months. There was 7 or 9 different large um, planet changes and star changes, and things that um, is really changing. Sorry, my husband left me a note of something that was happening here. So anyway, that just distracted me. So I'm sorry for rambling if I did, but it can happen at different speeds. It doesn't happen right away. And just be open and maintain, let's say, cultivate. That's what the energies are now doing. They're nourishing or cultivating that desire for more of the inner wisdom, more of the spiritual connection, more of truth, of whatever truth it is that you're meant to see and you're meant to find, and that your heart desires. And so just nourish that desire for truth, nourish that curiosity, give yourself time to stop what you're doing, stop the busyness, the keeping doing things that we're pushed in the world. um, Find time to ground yourself and calm your mind. We're so often in hyper fight or flight, a chronic low grade, not like you're running for your life, but chronic low grade fight or flight. And find time to deeply ground, sorry, to calm your mind. I was trying to put those two words together. And maybe it's guided meditation, maybe it's working in your garden, maybe it's running, whatever it is that you find that calms your mind and helps you connect to spirit, and hear those desires, and begin to look at those past old beliefs. For me, it was beliefs of churches that I've learned, that I started looking at first. And it also then involved things in the world happening. that I was waking up to realize it wasn't what I thought and or what I was taught. So cultivate those energies of your desire and the curiosity to look at things and of asking Source or God to bring you those ideas, to receive those from heaven and hear them in your heart, listen, and see which of those ideas or those step forwards or that new perspective. It might not mean redoing what happened, but it may be just the being able to see it with a new perspective helps those old beliefs go away. And so they're not bothering you, or helps the worry, or helps the, like for me, the worry or anxiety or fear that still pops up in the circumstances I'm going to based on what happened in the past to me. And so give these astrological, the moon energy and Gemini energy and your own energy time to mesh together. Listen with your heart and find these new ideas and which one of those new ideas is for now best in your interest at this time, best aligned with your heart. So that's my message for today. And oh, I wanted to say also, I see this with the ancestors. When they um, come to me. Often it's during a client session and the client's ancestors are coming, but it happened with my own ancestors when I was clearing many of them also. It happens, I've done some work with Native Americans, and it happens when I feel them too. And the ancestors in the afterlife, if they're not at this place when they die of being able to have that mindset or that desire to go to the next realm at that time, then the afterlife is like their continued journey, and they stay in the afterlife until they have that desire and they have the knowledge and they have the other things that they need to go to the next realm and are ready to go to the next realm. And I see their perspective changing. It's like one that I remember greatly was very um, distinctive. There's levels in the afterlife, levels of power, so to speak, of people being in charge and control, trying to rule over other people and trying to um, take actions or persuasions and intentions that would change us as living and what we would do. Yes, there's levels in the afterlife of that. And I've experienced people in some of those levels. I'm very much with the mindset of hierarchy, of that control, coercion, manipulation, um, and of the opposite of that, which is wanting to be ruled over, like not wanting to, not ready yet to just to take those steps to think for themselves and what do they want to look in their to alignment in their inner self, and they they still want to be ruled over and just believe what they've always believed. And I've seen that shifting. It's like it was during a tuning, and the first time I connected with those ancestors, they were like outside the ancestral field. They weren't like really involved. They were watching greatly, but it was some of my client's ancestors. And I don't allow ancestors in my home who are not ready to transition. Um, I just don't want to deal with having to be around the hierarchical energies. I'm not saying they're all out to get you or out to harm you. Many probably want to do well, but if they have the hierarchical mindset, then how do you know that they have your best interest at heart? It's probably not all the time. And so I don't want to listen to them. And so I make them stay outside my house until they're ready to transition. And so in this one session, the first time I connected with them, it was like, oh, it was very negative. They wanted nothing to do with it. They were angry. Um, there was two different groups. One was the rulers and one was the ruled over. And then I by the end of the tuning, the next time I connected with them, it was like the one group was still very angry. The controllers were still very angry. They were consciously choosing to stay in that mindset. The others, there had been a shift. Some of them were now, instead of a no way, we don't want this, their attitude was, well, maybe someday I'll want to go to the oneness. And they had become willing. They heard that desire that we all have in our hearts to know spirit more, to have that connection with spirit, to respond to that magnetism of each of us for the whole, and the whole for each of us. And so they had started to listen. They had made that shift during the tuning and started to listen. And I've seen that in other cases too. Just none that's coming to mind specifically or as distinctively as that experience was. But so it happens to the ancestors in the waiting place too. So do your work now. I'd like to encourage you, do your work now, so that at the time that your life is ending, that you're ready to go directly to the oneness, and that higher energy and better existence than the negativity and hierarchy of the waiting place. And so that's my message today. So thank you so much for watching. Please come back and join me on Wednesday evenings at 7. And this week, since we spoke about the moon and Gemini energies, then my free mini tuning that the Wednesday session is is um, about those energies and integrating those with us. And just one more word, if you haven't seen it yet, Saturday you can look and see the link under the live videos and on my channel. And we did an old world energy grid tuning, myself and some friends, and I thought it was very deep and powerful. And we're starting a good thing there, because those energies are ready to restore and reconnect. And so, anyway, please view that, and we'll have those monthly. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Thank you.